Hey all, good evening. Uh, so we have the spaces arranged today in a good Monday evening to understand what the new PMLA rules are, how it applies to VDA slash crypto transactions. So we'll start in about a minute or so. We'll let people join in because we still have about a couple of minutes left. So stay tuned. We will have some very interesting conversations with Shiva, who is the Chief Compliance Officer of CoinSwitch. We'll just wait for a few minutes. Thank you. Hey Shiva, while we wait for more audience to come in, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Sumil, thanks. Are you able to hear me, Sumil?
Great. Yes, Shiva, you are audible. How's the weather in Bombay?
It's good. uh, Weather is always good in Bombay except for 1 or 2 months.
Great, great. Just for the audience knowledge, we are joining in from Bangalore, CoinSwitch office, and Shiva, who's our Chief Compliance Officer, is tuning in from Bombay. So we'll just start about in a minute or so. Uh, so we'll wait for that. Thanks,
Yep,
Shiva.
thanks.
So Shiva, while we wait for the time, would you like to introduce yourself to the other audience who are already there? A bit more on what you are doing at CoinSwitch, what does your role entail, and maybe a bit of what you did before CoinSwitch and all that.
Sure, Sumil. So, Sumil, before joining CoinSwitch last July, I'm a career banker with almost around 3.5 decades of experience in banking industry, cutting across all facets of banking. Last 10 years being in the area of compliance. Um, Prior to that, in the area of business. So I think I have seen both sides of the coin. So and now in presently in CoinSwitch, I'm setting up the compliance team. We are getting into various businesses, including some of the regulated businesses like broking and HNI advisory, etc., etc. Exciting times at CoinSwitch. So I'm setting up the entire compliance team, and now this PMLA notification is actually come at the right time, where the credibility for the entire crypto industry will increase.
That's great to hear, Shiva. So your experience from the banking and now the BD, I think that'll shed a lot of context to the conversation that we are going to have. So Shiva, let me get straight to the question. So, what does PMLA rules actually mean, and how does it what does it mean for crypto exchanges to say that they are now under PMLA Act? What does it mean?
Uh, you're all aware that these rules were notified on March 7th, 2023 by the government of India. Of course, this is a welcome move. We've been asking for this for quite some time now. And what will happen is this will bring greater transparency and trust in India's crypto sector, as well as it will make it sustainable and protects the customer. More importantly, by implementing this KYC and AML guidelines, it will increase the trust by reducing the chances of fraud. That's one of the big things that happen these days. Now, to name, for instance, know your customer, KYC details is an essential tool for business to mitigate legal risks, and also to improve customer trust and most importantly, prevent money laundering. Uh, I think this is in the overall interest. It's a mutual interest, I would say, of both business and the customer.
Great, great. So it's in the interest of the customer, the businesses, the platforms, as well as the national
Yeah.
interest. So it's all about building
Yes.
trust. So Shiva, since you are the expert here, so tell me a bit more details on the PMLA role. So how is this building trust going to be? So what are the key important takeaways from this role?
Yeah. So these platforms dealing in VDAs, will now have to be registered as this is the first thing. Will now have to be registered as a reporting entity with the Financial Intelligence Unit of the country. This is the a repository of all the information, which the banks, you know, is a central national agency under the Ministry of Finance, established to coordinate and strengthen the India's efforts against money laundering and financing terrorism. Um, as a reporting entity, platforms like CoinSwitch are mandated to implement KYC, record and monitor all transactions and report to the FIU as and when suspicious activity is detected. This is as per the FATF, the Financial Task Force of the world, you know, in lines of that. Every country has got this. It's just not India alone.
All right. Okay. So yeah. So I understand that FIU, that is a Financial Intelligence Unit,
Yeah.
is some kind of central national agency under Union Ministry of Finance, and that agency is supposed to be our frontline to counter money laundering and financing terrorism, and all kinds of banks, intermediaries, stockbrokers, and people, intermediaries who deal with gold and all, were already reporting under PMLA, and now crypto platforms, platforms and business dealing with VDA, that is virtual digital assets, are also under the same act. Is that right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Sumil. Yes, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah.
Okay, good to know that. So, so what does this mean for the users? Like to say that CoinSwitch or other VDA platforms are now under PMLA Act. What does this rule mean for users?
So, you know what, actually, again, I keep reiterating this, it actually protects the users, surprisingly. Once your customer, gets identified, by this KYC norms, etc., he's protected. So, CoinSwitch has had KYC, stringent KYC checks and transaction monitoring systems even before the latest notification. We had actually sumo adopted the PMLA, which was hitherto applicable to the banks. These standards and norms we implemented will actually help us quickly to comply with the newly notified rules under the PMLA Act. CoinSwitch users may have to provide certain additional information to comply with the new rules, and we will notify our users of the same as and when they are required. Just to be in compliance and for their own protection.
All right. So Shiva, so what you're saying is like even before this notification, CoinSwitch was like had stringent KYC check. Like when I had to open my account, I had to give my PAN card, penny draw for bank account. So all of these steps that we did before this notification helped us to will help us quickly comply with the new rules, right?
Correct. You're right.
Okay. And maybe some CoinSwitch users may have to provide certain additional information as per the new rules, is what you're saying.
Correct. Correct.
All right. Okay. That's great to know. So, just some of the we have been asking users like what are their queries, what are the doubts on PMLA, on social, on our community channels, all that. So one of the most prominent question, I think it's like because of the legal wordings used, it's like, are all crypto transactions now considered as money laundering? Does
Absolutely no.
that
This
okay?
absolutely no. These notifications do not mean that reporting entities are being probed. Instead, means reporting entities will now monitor and record transactions, have an established framework to report any suspicious activity to the regulatory authorities. Now, suspicious activity where the reporting entity is not satisfied with the investigations carried out by them. Such rules are already applicable to banks, financial institutions, and other intermediaries in securities markets, real estate, etc. In fact, regular reporting to the FIU and filing of suspicious transaction reports will likely help law enforcement authorities to have advanced visibility into suspicious transactions, thereby developing the trust between the crypto service providers and the enforcement authorities. Now, what does this mean for the crypto user? As long as he is able to identify his to whom he's transferring the money and the genuine cause, need not worry about any aspect of this.
All right. So what I understand is this: the PMLA Act is a framework now that we could media platforms will fall under to record and monitor all activities and report any suspicious activity. And this is a framework that banks, payment gateways and other intermediaries have always been following. If I have a bank, which obviously we all have a bank account, and we all been part of this PMLA Act even before. Now the VDA industry, that is the crypto industry, comes under the same framework, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. So, which my another question, it's related to what I just spoke. Does this mean that conversion of crypto to INR, that Indian rupee, if I sell crypto to INR or if I use INR to crypto, does that mean this transaction is now considered money laundering?
Again, a big no. Trading on VDA or conversion on VDA to INR would not be considered money laundering. Now, there are a couple of scenarios, which will translate into money laundering, but no, this is not. Instead, the application of PMLA Act provides reporting entities and regulators with an established framework already told before to prevent, monitor, and counter any suspicious activity on the VDA. As I told you earlier, banks, payment firms, financial institutions, and other intermediaries in securities market, real estate, etc., are already covered under PMLA. So the latest notification extends these rules to VDA. So again, nothing to worry on this aspect.
All right, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So, Shiva, I just want to double down a little more on this, how PMLA Act are applicable to VDA. So, are these rules applicable to wallet providers? Are these rules applicable to crypto exchanges, platforms? So, who all comes under these PMLA Act?
Yes, yes is to the first question. Whether they are applicable to wallet providers and platforms. Now, I will read out the notification which you all must have read, and in any case, at the cost of repetition, according to the notification, the following activities are covered under PMLA: exchange between virtual digital assets and fiat currencies, exchange between one or more forms of virtual digital assets, transfer of virtual digital assets, safekeeping or administration of virtual digital assets or instruments, enabling control over virtual digital assets, and participation in and provision of financial services related to an issuer's offer and sale of virtual digital. This means, what this means is that all businesses and platforms providing any of the above virtual digital asset services, including exchanges as CoinSwitch and custodial services, will be mandated to adhere to the PMLA rules. I hope made myself clear on this.
Yes, Shiva, definitely. So my understanding is exchanges between VDA and fiat currency is like if I am buying VDA through INR or I'm selling VDA and taking to INR. So platforms that do that business or exchanges between one VDA to another, that is VDA to VDA transaction or transfer of a VDA, like one VDA is transferred to user A to user B, platforms that deal with that kind of business or safekeeping of VDA would be like custodial services and all of that, right? And all of these form now come under PMLA Act, and also in issue of offer or sale would be like coin issuers and all of that, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
All of them now come under PMLA Act.
Correct, correct, correct.
And which means now all whoever these businesses and platforms will have to record and monitor all their transactions. And if there is any suspicious transaction, it is now mandated to report to the entity, which is FIU, right?
You're right. You're right.
And FIU, I understand, it's a legal entity under Ministry of Finance, Union Ministry of Finance.
Absolutely correct.
All right, that's good. Yeah. So Shiva, I think most of my doubts are clear. So just one, the central mood question is like, so how is CoinSwitch compliant? How are we staying compliant under PMLA?
So one of the primary requirement under this PMLA is the CoinSwitch has to register itself with the FIU as a reporting entity, which CoinSwitch has completed. Uh, we have always actually prioritized due diligence and compliance, and we will now continue that under the newly applicable PMLA framework. Whatever needs to be implemented, whatever needs to be done, will be done.
That is great to hear. Whatever needs to be done will be done by CoinSwitch, and if there is any additional information that a user may not have to give, that we will notify the user as and when applicable. Is that right?
Yes, you're right. You're right, Sumil.
Okay. Thank you, Shiva. Thanks a lot for sparing it. I think that cleared all my doubts on PMLA Act. Thanks for joining in from Bombay. Uh, and
Yeah.
thank you all. I hope everybody got their all their doubts cleared on PMLA. And this, as Shiva said, this is about building trust in the crypto ecosystem. And CoinSwitch has always been about a compliance and due diligence. And because we have always been doing KYC, you would all know that you would have to submit PAN cards, you would have to do identity verification, selfies, the what we verify the bank account. So all of these processes that we did before help us quickly comply with the new rules. And going forward, that is going to be how it is. We will now be compliant. We'll continue to comply under the new PMLA framework. Shiva, am I right?
You're right. You're right, Sumil.
All right. Thank you, Shiva. So thank you all for tuning in for today's Twitter Spaces on a very important topic of PMLA. See you soon on some other topics. So thank you for joining in. Thank
Thanks.
you.